Joining us today, Zeb Haniya, a musician duo from Pakistan who emerged from the underground music scene in Pakistan and are now working internationally. Their debut album, Chup, was credited with creating an entirely new canon of jazz and blues influenced numbers in Urdu. They're about to release their second album of original tracks and are also working on a collaborative project with Shantanu and Swanan, who they were paired with on The Tourist when they came and worked in that show. And next to me also is Navdeep Singh. Navdeep Singh is an advertising film director. Navdeep has worked and directed ads in Los Angeles, London and Mumbai. He has also directed a narrative length feature film, Manorama 6 Feet Under, which was released in 2007. Okay guys, we're going to start the conversation. First off with this notion which was up in the AV earlier. Will it sell?
I think that really depends on the kind of market you are operating in. For us in Pakistan, because the music industry is still kind of, it's burgeoning, there's lots of independent acts and the whole band culture and independent music scene is a little bit more kind of supported. I mean, when we made our songs, we never really thought that anyone would listen to them. So it was a surprise when we actually, found out that people had heard our songs or, liked them or wanted us to play them. And then we've been very lucky because the market and the people in Pakistan have supported us. But the biggest success that we got in Pakistan was when a corporate kind of endorsed this program called Coke Studio. And that's when the world got to know about us. So weird feeling initially, and it was
well, I mean, again, your conception of commercial success changes as you go along also. I mean, when our album actually got released and a record label bought it and the sponsor put their stamp on it and people started listening to it, like, oh my god, we're a commercial success. And then when Coke Studio happened, I mean, that just started sort of increasing exponentially. And even today, we're completely surprised. So again, it keeps changing the sort of conception of what is a commercial success.
Okay, I'd like to ask Navdeep now because from your point of view, what you do is tremendously different from what they do. So could you talk a little bit about that?
I think it's a little different for if you're operating in film, for instance. I mean, as a musician, you can definitely be a little more out there because the resources required aren't exactly the same as you need huge amount of funds in film. Although I think recently in the last 5 years or whatever, with a lot of digital filmmaking coming in, it has been democratized to a much larger extent. I mean, you can today go out and shoot stuff on your iPhone. I mean, maybe not.
But that's still not commercial.
It's not commercial. I mean, yeah. So, not notion of what you want your creativity to sort of give back to you, more than just the pleasure that you're getting from being creative. That's purely individual. If you think you should be paid crores and crores of rupees for going out and making a film, I mean, yeah, then you have to wait for that to happen. Or maybe it'll never happen at all. But meanwhile, why don't you just go out and actually do something, and not necessarily want to monetize your creativity. Yeah, so I think it's an individual notion of what you are happy with at one level in terms of getting back from at least monetarily from your work.
Sure, and now when you're thinking in terms of making, when you set out to make something, when you have like your next thing lined up, how do you design that? I mean, is that something that you can really design as saying that something, I want to make something that's going to be commercially successful? Do you think that's possible?
I think everything you get into, you think it's going to be commercially successful. And the trick is to find something that will make you happy, make the producer happy, and hopefully an audience happy when they see it as well. But yeah, I mean, nobody says, I'm going to make a film which only 2 people, my mom, auntie will come and watch. And you want as many people as possible to come and watch it.
Like I said, when we first made us, people started hearing the songs and we became a commercial success in our own eyes. Then like the awareness of the audience was such an enormous pressure for us that when we sat down, and of course everyone, I don't know if this happens to every creative person, but I think everyone has an opinion on what you should do next. So I have people, people who stamp your boarding passes telling you next time you need to do this, or and then we couldn't really kind of make anything for around 4 months. Haniya and I tried, and the minute we quit thinking about it, songs
Yeah, I mean, in terms of sort of popularity and commercial appeal and crowd pulling powers, again, like Zeb said, when we wrote our first set of songs, we had absolutely no awareness of any audience. Like, we actually didn't think anyone outside of our dog or outside of our family would hear them. But since then, a lot of people have liked and appreciated our music, and I still don't know why. But every day I try to understand what it is. One thing that I believe is happening is, I think a lot of people underestimate audiences. I think audiences are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. And personally, I think sincerity plays a great role in communicating. I think all artistic endeavor is about communication. And if you're sincere in what you're doing, and if you believe what you're doing, then it's going to communicate and it will draw at least some people to your work.
So I guess the notion of will it sell really cannot play, from what you're saying. It's almost like the first one is where you have to sort of prove that you have talent, and then after that you have to be successful or else.
As a filmmaker, yeah. It has to be at least sustainable. At least you're not causing huge losses for somebody. But having said that, if nothing else, reach out to at least a producer. You know, if you manage to convince that one person, then you've got some money in to make up, and hopefully for the next one, another one, because you know you did reach out to a larger audience. Yeah, so yeah, you do have a sort of like internal sort of